is cosplay groups, and it's just a general panel on what is a cosplay group, because we get asked this, or this comes up a fair bit, and it's kind of hard to explain, but essentially, my basic definition is a cosplay group is a group of friends that cosplay together. It's very simple. It's not a company, it's not anything official, it's not anything that sort of binds you into a contract unless you have a contract. Oh no, but you guys have a contract. Yeah, application form. Some sort of virtual right thing though. It's just, it's very casual group of friends to cosplay together. Of course, this is a picture of our Mario cosplay that we did at Christmas time. And of course, it was just all of us together wanted to cosplay one series just for the effect of a whole bunch of people cosplaying the same series and just to all have fun together. So, and you can notice one of our group's young daughter there in the center had one of her first cosplays. With, yeah, Valcher creeped in on her like that. And Luigi. And her works too. Alright, so these are just the ones I know of. There are a whole lot of cosplay groups. I was thinking about doing a search for like all of them online, but then I got tired. So I just went with the groups I'm familiar with. Yay. It's okay, we started early. 2 minutes ago. So, can everyone hear me, by the way? Well, yeah. No. Speak louder. Now let's get to the professor. Hello, students.
Teach us your ways.
Alright. So as I don't like using this. As you can see, we have 3 cosplay groups up here that I got the pictures for. We have Fight Dreamers Productions, which we are part of, with Koi Cosplay, and they're from California, and then we have Parlay Productions. And I thought I had to include them because they're here. Can I tell Johnny? Anyway, as I was saying, there are a whole bunch of groups, lots of productions groups, lots of cosplay groups.
Got 2 cameras by each head.
You guys are Parlay Productions, right? Officially?
Thank you.
Okay. There's some that are ink as well. And now I'm just going to do a quick explanation of how FTP came to be. This turns into an 18+ panel. Make your choice now. FTP formed initially as myself, Kenshiro, and Calibri getting together and cosplaying together. The way I met Kenshiro is sketchy business. I went on to cosplay.com forums, and I was on a Vancouver-based forum, and I was just like, hey, I'm looking for people who cosplay in my area in Vancouver. And then Calibri answered me, and we started talking, and then I started talking to her husband, Kenshiro, who is a fair bit older than me. And great thing is, he's the nicest guy in the world. This could have gone very, very bad. Because then I was going to go out cosplay shopping. He's like, oh yeah, I know some shops. I can help you out. And I was like, well, we should meet up. He's like, all right. I will be the man in the black trench coat at the train station. And at the time, I was about 17. So, I mean, that never do that. For me, it ended up working out because they're to this day some of my best friends, and essentially, he's like my father figure, and she's like my sister. So, we still don't know how that works out, but he's just father to all. He's the all father, if you will. He's over. So we formed. You will someday. We formed a group of 3 people. Parlay. We formed a group of 3 people, And we sort of threw around the idea of being a cosplay group. I had seen a group online who were from Texas called JAC Productions. And to my knowledge, they are one of the first, if not the first, cosplay group. But they were more of an acting troupe than they were a cosplay group. They were far more focused on skits than they were on actual cosplay. But I was familiar with their skits, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So I was like, hey, why don't we form something like this? The three of us. So, hey, right before Anime Evolution, my first con, we formed sort of a tentative group. I'm pretty sure this time we sort of had the name Fighting Dreamers in the works, and that was from the song Naruto Fighting Dreamers. We figured it kind of fits. And the productions was actually tacked on as a joke, which I find ironic considering it's widely used now. We use productions to sort of parody our own amateur status, because obviously we're not a productions group. We were just a group of people cosplaying, so it was like productions. So it was kind of an inside joke for us at first, and then I guess it kind of caught on. So we formed a group, and then I met her, and then she became part of the group as well. What are you wearing? Okay, whatever. She joined the group, and then we had 4 people. And by the end of our first con, we had a group of people who were loosely fighting dreamers because we all sort of hung out together. I then sent out an email and said, hey, if you want to join a cosplay group, I have this idea that we can all make this group, we can do a bunch of skits together and all that. I set up a YouTube page, and we started uploading random videos, and then it stays. And before I knew it, it was kind of a thing. We never really intended it to be a thing, I wanted a group of people I could cosplay with, and I thought it'd be fun to sort of make that an official group. And AG designed our logo, so that was kind of cool. When it comes to cosplay groups, a lot of people ask sort of how do you make a cosplay group? It's sort of like making friends. You can't really try to make friends. It's okay. So, three main things to avoid in cosplay groups. Number 1, hierarchy. It's not a government. It's not a monarchy or anything. It's a friendship first and foremost, not a company. Setting out to be famous. A lot of people actually message me online and are just like, I want my cosplay group to be famous. How do I go about doing that? That's kind of a funny question because you can't really try to do that. It's like if you find yourself thinking, how to make yourselves famous, you're kind of doing it wrong. Because obviously you're not setting out to have fun cosplaying, you're not setting out to have fun as a group of friends, you're setting out with a specific goal. And that goal entirely depends on luck, right place and right time, and just pure random chance. Because if you look at the cosplay groups out there that are considered quote-unquote famous, I mean, like we aren't really anything special, and
oh no, you're special.
no, okay, you're special in that way. Special in that I have 2 libraries.
Yeah.
And you also don't want to be having a cosplay sweatshop, because you don't want to, if it's not fun anymore, what's the point? You don't want to walk into like your group, hang out time on the weekend, and of course you only have your weekends to have fun and enjoy yourself. You don't want to then spend your weekends working over a sewing machine with people yelling at you. That's just not cool, and I've seen it happen, but cosplay is spending money on it, and it's your form of leisure, so you want to make sure that you're having fun and that you are not doing it as sort of like a second or third job. Where problems arise, and number 1, just unnecessary. Want to take off my clothes? Number 1 problem with cosplay groups that arise is, and this has all happened within FTP, so I'm not speaking from a pedestal or something. We've had a lot of problems with our group. But number 1 is exclusion. 2 people or 1 person gets all the leads and all the attention and sort of orchestrates what's happening within the group.
So,
And oftentimes, I mean, if you're a group of friends and if this happens without cosplay, you see one or two people and they sort of are the leaders that can cause problems in and of itself. But when you're cosplaying and someone who's, within your cosplay group, within your series, always the main two characters are always sort of get first dibs on the character. There are going to be issues because, I mean, if you're not one of those top two or top one people, you always, are stuck playing the background characters when you may want to play one of the more main characters. So you just want to keep it in mind that you may want to sort of pass the spotlight around and maybe refer to other people as to what series they want to cosplay, so that one person is always like, we're going to cosplay this, 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 and this. Getting too into character-based friendships and relationships off of fictional characters. This is a funny one. And this is an actual quote from someone who was the group's Hinata. And they liked the Sasuke in the group, but they figured that they could not pursue her romantically because they had to be with the group's Naruto or be interested. You're cosplaying characters. You aren't characters. And you're not going to be cosplaying these characters forever. So obviously if you were into the characters and you base your entire relationship off these characters and you move on to a different series, then the dynamic's going to change. What do you do then? So you've got to make sure that you're basing the relationship off of the people, not the characters that cosplay. So you don't want to always be calling each other by character names or acting in character. Am I naked or something? Halfway, yeah. Also restricting cosplay. Don't stop members from cosplaying what they want to, or whoever they want to. Just because again, it's cosplay. It's not a big deal. It's just for fun. And don't stop members of the cosplay group from cosplaying outside of the group. We do a lot of cosplaying outside the group, and after we started doing that more in FGP, things got a lot better. Because then you aren't depending on your members of your group to cosplay with you all the time. Sometimes they won't have the money, sometimes they won't have the time, sometimes they just won't want to, or they just won't be into the series. Again, it's just same as socializing with a group of friends, just don't make it set in stone and don't set restrictions. And how do I make cosplay friends? This is another huge question. Of course, there are a lot of people who are in school and they don't know anyone else who's into cosplay. To be quite honest, you'd be surprised at how many people are secretly into anime and cosplay and manga and comics in your school who just don't want to say anything about it. But a really good place to start is start talking to people are things like cosplay.com forums. Be careful. DeviantArt. Be careful. YouTube, be very careful. There are some weird people on YouTube. Tumblr, again, and just be safe, don't do what I did. Local convention forums are probably the best place if you have a local convention and they have forums. Especially if they have a meetup board or something, you can ask to start a meetup board. Those are excellent with starting up sort of local cosplay meetups. Going to a local convention and making friends there is probably the best one, because then you aren't relying on online communication, which can be kind of sketchy. And as I was saying, local meetups. Do you guys have many meetups here? Yeah. Like cosplay picnics and photo shoots and stuff? Yeah.
We still do it way
Yeah, well, you're made up for sketching, so.
Yeah, I feel like the only full crossover is like plus shooters, but that's about it.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say meetups are probably fish. Probably fish. You might have went on purpose, didn't you? Meetups are probably the best place to meet people because then you meet them in person and it's just a very casual, relaxed atmosphere. Do I need to be? This is the creepiest. Do I need to be the cosplay group? No. You do not need to be the cosplay group.